spirit you can't kill.
This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman as we bring you part 2 of our look at a new documentary about the legendary activist Judy Barry. She was a union organizer, came to California, got involved with the movement to stop the clear-cutting of old-growth redwood trees, helped organize a campaign called Redwood Summer to bring thousands of activists to join the fight. But in 1990, a pipe bomb blew up in her car when she stopped at a stop sign in Oakland, California, en route to a demonstration. After the incident, Judy Barry and her passenger Darryl Cherney, both with the environmental group Earth First, were charged with transporting explosives. In the end, the charges were never pursued, and to this day the question remains, who bombed Judy Barry? That's also the title of a new documentary that played in Oakland on Monday night and is playing at the Santa Monica Laemmle Theater on Tuesday nights and Wednesday nights for free. And we're joined now by its producer, Darryl Cherney, who was in Barry's car when the bomb went off. Let's continue on this discussion of who was Judy Barry. Darryl Cherney.
Judy Barry brought a unique combination of labor activism, environmentalism, and feminism all together in a unique package that was combined with brilliant oratory. She had a razor-sharp wit. She was the funniest person I know. She played the fiddle, she was a carpenter, and she was the mother of 2 children. And she was able to bring loggers and environmentalists together in a way that had never been done before and which the timber industry was really fearing. She was actually organizing timber workers into the IWW, the Industrial Workers of the World Labor Union, with wearing an Earth First shirt. The woman had the gift of gab like nobody else.
I want to play an excerpt from your new documentary, Who Bombed Judi Bari? This is Judy speaking to supporters after the bombing.
Thank you to all the Earth Firsters and peace people and movement people in general for this tremendous outpouring of concern and support. It really makes me feel better knowing that you all are down there and knowing that I'm not alone and we're not alone. And that's something I've always felt in Earth First, is that we are a movement. I think it's important for us to remember where the real violence is being done. The real violence is being done to the forest, not as much as to the organizers. I hope that this will not deter people from coming this summer to save the redwood forest, because terrorism is a horrible tactic, and we know that the timber companies will use it. But terrorism cannot stand up to mass nonviolence.
That was Judy Barry. Can you explain, Darryl, what happened to you and Judy the day your car was bombed? And we'll talk about the FBI saying then it was you, the both of you, who had injured yourselves because it was you who were transporting this bomb.
Well, Judy and I were on a musical roadshow, giving speeches, showing slides. She played the fiddle, I played the guitar, and we were touring universities. We were actually on our way to UC Santa Cruz, and we had received many, many death threats. And in fact, because we had received so many death threats, we scheduled this college tour to both organize kids to come up to the Redwoods to defend them during Redwood Summer, and also to get out of Dodge, to get away from the timber communities that were threatening us so badly. So when we left Oakland, basically heading for UC Santa Cruz on May 24th, 1990, we thought we were out of the danger zone. But a bomb blew up in her car with myself in the passenger seat. The bomb was directly underneath her. It shattered her pelvis, dislocated permanently 2 of her vertebrae, intestinal damage. She was impaled on a car seat spring. And really, within 5 minutes, the FBI showed up, instructed the Oakland police that we were to be arrested for transportation of an explosive device, that we had essentially bombed ourselves.
That is astounding on so many levels, especially that they then did not pursue who did this.
There was never an investigation by law enforcement as to who bombed Judy Barry. There was a sham investigation. You know, they said that nails in the back of Judy's car matched nails that were strapped to the bomb, but the nails in Judy's car were finishing nails. She was a professional carpenter. She called herself a foreman, which she was at California Yurts up in Hopland, California. She led a construction crew. She had carpentry tools in the back of her car. So her finishing nails were for her roofing job of her own house that she was moving into. So to say that these finishing nails matched the roofing nails in the back of her car was like saying a Volkswagen and a Rolls Royce are identical because they're both cars. Yet the FBI said that. They said the bomb was in the back seat where we should have seen it, and yet the back seat was perfectly intact, whereas the bomb was actually under her seat, and there's a big hole under the driver's seat, as well as a big hole in the floorboard underneath it. So the FBI knowingly lied. It wasn't that they can botch the investigation, it's that they lied and basically attempted to frame us. And you have to wonder, why were they doing it so quickly right after the bombing?
Why do you think? And what have you concluded after 20 years and making this film, Who Bombed Judi Bari?
Well, the FBI files on Earth First go all the way back to 1981. When Earth First was conducting civil disobedience against the Secretary of the Interior to stop some oil drilling leases. And they have been following us. They did a sting operation on Earth First in 1988. The FBI tried to get Earth Firsters to literally blow up 3 nuclear power plants. They failed because they realized that Earth Firsters would not associate themselves with bombs. And yet, it seems very clear that the FBI was intent on associating Earth First with bombs, and that's exactly what happened in our case. So they had a history of trying to discredit Earth First really right out of the box.
Darryl, you and Judy were both members of Earth First. I want to go to another clip from Who Bombed Judi Bari that includes Mike Rozelle, Dave Foreman, but it begins with the well-known environmental writer, Edward Abbey.
Earth First got itself started by a few people who were tired of all the compromising by the mainline environmental outfits.
It's time for a warrior society to rise up out of the earth and put ourselves in front of the juggernaut of destruction.
The major threat to biological diversity is industrial society. You know, everyone has certainly made mistakes, but no one has made mistakes like we're currently making right now.
Earth First is convincing good people and mainstream environmental groups not to compromise before the game starts.
We aren't left, we aren't right, we aren't in the middle, we aren't even in front or behind. We aren't even playing that game.
That last voice, Dave Foreman, co-founder of Earth First. This history of Earth First, and Darryl, how you got involved.
I traveled from Midtown Manhattan to Garberville, California. Back in 1985, I saw that the Maxam Corporation had taken over Pacific Lumber Company, a venerable logging company that never clear-cut, had been logging sustainably for 118 years. And this Wall Street takeover, which involved Michael Milken and Ivan Boesky and all that insider trading scandal stuff from the 1980s, was well in play, involving the takeover of Pacific Lumber Company.
Of course,
and
they
so
both went to jail for insider trading and other crimes.
That's correct. Michael Milken and Ivan Boesky went to jail, but Charles Hurwitz, the CEO of Maxam Corporation, who benefited from the takeover of Pacific Lumber, he was never prosecuted for the insider trading scandal. And being there in Garberville right when the whole thing happened, a man named Greg King and I started an Earth First chapter specifically to take on the Maxam Corporation, who was logging ancient redwoods, 2,000 years old, 350 feet high, 15 feet wide, at a really accelerated rate, a tripled cut, in order to pay off a $750 million junk bond debt, thanks to Wall Street.
And explain why these redwoods, these old growth trees, were so important to you and to Judi Bari.
Well, of course, they house the spotted owl and the red tree vole, and they shade the salmon that swim up and down the streams. But they're also just the most magnificent beings to be in front of. They give a calm and a sense of really something greater than ourselves. So the redwoods fulfill both an ecological role and a spiritual role for human beings and many, many species on this planet.
I want to play another clip from your film, Who Bombed Judi Bari, about another attempt on her life. This is Judy describing what happened.
Had there been an incident in which you were hit by a truck?
Yes. I was traveling to a well-publicized demonstration as part of National Trees It Week, and I had my children in my car and several of my friends. and we were rear-ended by a log truck that we had blockaded the very day before, driven by the same truck, the same driver.
Everybody's pretty badly cut and bruised. Darryl is not in the greatest of shape. They hit him attached to one of those wooden boards. They were going through Philo on their way here, and a logging truck didn't slow down coming into town, hit him from behind, propelled them into another car.
There was no squealing of brakes, there was no warning whatsoever, just simply a violent impact from the truck hitting my car. And I can only call it attempted murder.
Fortunately, no one was on that porch. They would have gotten killed for sure.
And they refused to investigate it as anything but a traffic accident. And I think that what was happening was a real pattern of non-enforcement of law regarding Earth Firsters. And what this did was it gave a green light to anybody who would attack us.
That was Judy Barry, and that happened 9 months before the two of you were blown up in your car. Darryl described that incident as well.
Judy Barry and I and Pam Davis and 4 children, very young, all under the age of 8, were driving to a demonstration, a public rally in Fort Bragg, California, when all of a sudden the car was just flying in the air. There was this giant boom, and we were airborne. We crashed into a parked pickup truck in the town of Philo. By some miracle, nobody was badly hurt. But as I got out of the car to pull the children out, the log truck driver came running toward us, and he said, "I didn't see the children. I didn't see the children," as if he wouldn't have hit us deliberately if he had realized there was 4 children in the car. That's what happened that day.
So you have made this film now, Who Bombed Judi Bari. I think many people are not familiar with this case. Oakland declared a Judy Day?
That's right. As part of the final settlement, after the jury awarded us $4.4 million, we took a little bit less money, but in exchange for that, we got the City Council of Oakland to make May 24th, the day we were bombed, Judy Barry Day in the city of Oakland, better than an apology.
And the evidence that you're still trying to have pursued. You settled for $4.4 million. But talk about who you believe did the bombing of your car, the nail bomb under Judy, who is in the driver's seat that exploded.
Well, the whole bombing was done in the interest of the timber industry. There was a ballot initiative in 1990 called Forest Forever that would have banned clear-cutting and reformed forestry practices. It was the 20th anniversary of Earth Day, and environmental interest was just peaking like never before. So the timber industry, with this election looming on the horizon, had every interest in the world to discredit environmentalists. And I believe that it was the timber industry, in conjunction with the FBI, because a lot of us have experienced that law enforcement defends the status quo, defends the 1%, that it was a combination of those two who conspired to bomb Judy Barry. And we believe it was done at bomb school 30 days earlier, when the head of Louisiana Pacific Security was hosting the FBI in a bomb tech course in which they were blowing up cars with pipe bombs just 30 days before we were bombed in a car in Oakland.
That was May 24th, the day that is now Judy Barry Day in Oakland, May 24th, 1990, the day that you and Judy Barry were bombed. What does the FBI say today, Darryl?
Well, we're trying to get some evidence back from them to have it tested for DNA and fingerprints, and the FBI is basically saying that they don't want to turn any evidence over to me and my attorneys, actually not over to me, but over to an independent laboratory. None of us will touch this evidence because we don't have standing, because we actually want an unexploded or a partially exploded bomb that this was made by the same bomber. It has a lot of duct tape on it. We want to test it for DNA and fingerprints, and they say they don't want to return this bomb or give this bomb to Darryl Cherney because it's an explosive device, it's contraband. But we're not asking for the bomb to be given to any of us. We're asking for it to be turned over to an independent forensic laboratory. And the judge in 2010 and 11 ruled that, in our favor, ruled that we can test this material through an independent lab. The FBI is appealing that ruling, and on April 12th, just a couple weeks from now, Thursday, April 12th at 2 o'clock, we are in federal court with the FBI again, like a big reunion, to get this evidence sent over to a laboratory to have it tested. And Judge Claudia Wilkin, the same judge who heard our case back in 2002, when the jury awarded us $4.4 million, the same judge is going to hear that and rule whether we can test this evidence to see if we can learn who bombed Judy Barry. It'd be very nice if the police did this, but it looks like the citizens are going to have to do this ourselves.
Finally, the Lord's Avenger. What was this signed letter?
The Lord's Avenger was a very peculiar letter because it described the bomb in Judy Barry's car accurately, took full credit for it. It also described a bomb that had been set off 2 weeks earlier at a Louisiana Pacific mill, the same lumber company that had hosted bomb school with the FBI. So the Lord's Avenger, and he described both bombs accurately, which presumably made the Lord's Avenger the bomber. Only we tested that letter for DNA, and it came out as that of an unknown female, which makes you wonder, did the Lord's Avenger have a secretary? So we want to test the actual bomb remnants to see if the DNA on the bomb matches the DNA in the Lord's Avenger letter. But the Lord's Avenger letter took this pseudo-Christian rant that Judy Barry was leading the loggers into a pagan way, a pagan lifestyle. And the fact is that the letter, while describing the bombs accurately, had a certain disingenuousness to us. It seemed like it was a COINTELPRO letter, a red herring spread across the road to steer people away from the actual bomber.
Darryl Cherney is the producer of the new documentary, Who Bombed Judi Bari? It plays Tuesday and Wednesday nights, March 27th and 28th in Santa Monica, California at the Monica Laemmle. For a full schedule, you can visit the film's website, whobombedjudibari.com. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org. I'm Amy Goodman.
Who bombed Judi Bari? I know you're out there still. Have you seen her broken body? Or the spirit you can't kill?